Hello, I'm David Lawrence, one of the directors at Grant McGregor, and you're listening to the IT Bridge. Today, I'm joined by my co director, Paul Sinclair, to talk about one simple but important question. What is an IT strategy? And more importantly, do you have one? Morning, Paul.
Morning, David.
Good to have you here. So, we're going to talk about IT strategy. Strategy can be quite an expansive word. So, what do we actually mean about an IT strategy? If you can maybe break that down a little bit for us.
When we talk about an IT strategy, basically what we're talking about is a plan for the organization, um, something that aligns your technology and the future of technology with the business goals, whether that's where the business is currently in goals or where the business needs to be in 1, 2, 3 years, for example.
I think that's very powerful and well explained. Too often we see organizations have a business plan, which is great. They have goals or rocks, as some organizations like to call them, but they're not looking at technology or security to see if that's aligned to those goals as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, why is it important, Paul, for all sizes of organizations to have a defined IT strategy?
That's a big question, that one. So the key point now was all sizes of organizations. So whether you're 5 user organization, 50, 100, you should have an IT strategy going forward. It avoids you wasting money, because what you can find yourself into is just plodding along with the same thing and not really um, allowing technology to harness the business going forward. It's to sit there and define the organization going forward.
And just to touch upon that point about even in its infancy about hardware, I think so often over the years we've seen organizations treat uh, computer systems as if it was a television, and that a television somehow can magically be as effective as it was in the first month and after 5 years. And we know with technology, even with TVs, and certainly with smart TVs, how that technology changes and it becomes more uh, effective, even probably more productive to use it. And computer systems are exactly the same.
Computer system, yeah, exactly. We're in a fast evolving world, for technology. Just AI's driven a lot of that. Is driven the hardware and the technology at an expansive pace. So with having a strategy, you'll not get caught out on things like the Windows 11 upgrades from Windows 10, whereby 11 needs some
Sure.
hardware changes about it. So defining a strategy over a 1, 2, 3 year plan just helps organization not get caught out.
Yeah, no surprises. It's important probably for our viewers to help them understand the difference between an IT strategy and an IT setup.
Yeah, good question. So an IT setup is what you have at the moment. It's the hardware, it's the laptop, it's the tools, it's the here and now.
Oh, so like the infrastructure.
Yes, exactly. But even to the software and the services that you're using, it's what the organization now. That's the setup.
Right. So like kind of like business as usual.
Correct.
Fine.
Exactly.
Thanks, Paul. So we talked a little bit about an IT strategy, and hopefully we've brought that to life a little bit. What are, in your experience, what are some of the signs of an organization not having an IT strategy?
Um, from my experience, not having that strategy that's aligned and defined with the own organization's goal, it can make the organization a bit chaotic,
Right. Okay.
little bit messy. Um, um, it, it's like anything else. If there's no structure, there's nothing's moving in the right direction. So it can then start leaving you behind. It can leave organizations behind. So when organizations are not moving in the right direction, that's got a detriment to their own client base as well.
And I think you've used this example with me before, and just to steal your example, it's like having a car without a service plan. So the car is running okay for the first year. If it doesn't get a service and doesn't get maintenance, it slowly erodes the mechanical aspects of the car, but also the trust.
Yeah, so that's where it then becomes more reactive in
Right.
terms, so you're then reacting to uh, upgrading the hardware when it fails.
Yes.
You're then you've got more of a capital outlay, maybe at the wrong times of the year, rather than budgeting out for an IT strategy over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think you become uh, without a strategy, you become reactive rather than proactive, chaotic, as you said. But surprises and unexpected change just creeps in without being planned, and communication to the rest of the business, to the staff, and they get a little bit anxious. So yeah, the strategy is a proactive plan. Thanks, Paul. Are there any misconceptions about what an IT strategy should look like, Paul?
Yeah, the one big one here is that an IT strategy, like a lot of other strategy and internal policy documents, doesn't need to be this massive document that's, pages and pages and pages long that sits in a drawer and nobody looks at. It can simply be, a page or two, um, just defining, you know, um, within a year or 2 years, the business wants to do X, but where should the IT but align itself? So it doesn't need to be massive documents that people are scared to pick up.
And I think we see that often. It's a good point that even with business plans, but like an IT strategy, it should be condensed. People should be able to pick it up, understand it, but also it's a living, breathing document. It should change every quarter, every 6 months, every year.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and it can be in a basic format, even just like a checklist.
that's a good point. Yeah, I think in English as well. We've talked about an IT strategy, the importance of the IT strategy for it to be a living, breathing document, for the organization to be proactive. I think also to educate the right people within the organization that there is a strategy. And critically, the IT strategy lives alongside the business plan. And what are the risks? The risks of not having an IT strategy from your viewpoint.
Some of the fundamental risks there are, we touched on it a little bit earlier, is the organization and not driving itself forward. So if it's not driving and evolving its IT, then how are they managing their own client base effectively? How are they driving their client base as well? So you see that from an operational point of view. But we're in a world of increased cyber threats. There's not a day or a week going by where there's not something in the press, and having that right IT strategy will help the organization plan, but also stay as up to as much of the curve in the cyber threat world as it can.
There's a couple of points, I think, just to touch on what you were saying, Paul. There's the risks, as you said, a commercial risk. So the commercial risk of not having an IT strategy. Are your services, your customers being served with the help of technology? Do you have a competitive advantage using technology as an enabler, and not just the buzzword of AI, but just functional technologies in enabling your organization to be as productive and providing that level of service or products to their customers. And the other point that you talk about, uh, again, a bit of a buzzword, but it's cybersecurity. And we've seen that in the last 4 months, I think organizations take cybersecurity a little bit more seriously because the risks there. And, then, and because cybersecurity is an ever changing, organic threat, organizations have to uh, understand a little bit more about the threat landscape, and the IT strategy can help them with that. And even looking at educating their colleagues, their staff with security awareness training. We've seen that a little bit more now in people's strategies.
Exactly. And even if you are unsure where cyber would fit inside your strategy, doing something like a cyber essentials certification will help build that cyber strategy as well.
Let's break that down a little bit to our viewers. What would you say are the components of an IT strategy?
So the first component has got to be the here and now.
Right.
So this is where we are as an organization. The end bit is, well, where does the organization, where do we want to be in 3 years and 5 years? And the bit in the middle is, how is IT going to get there and expand? So if you're thinking, well, we're looking to grow the business by 25% over the next 3 years, you then have the ability within the IT strategy to create a budget plan.
Yeah, I think creating a budget plan would be a great place because you got the financial teams, director, the financial manager breathing down your neck to always make sure that technology is budgeted appropriately.
Yeah, so you can also see it as a roadmap for the future,
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
but also, we've touched on cybersecurity, so there's the security aspect of it there that's changing. So even having it within the strategy document just gives you as an organization that prompt to review the security that you have, and making sure that, with the new technologies or the ever changing technologies security wise, that the organization is staying aligned to that.
That's good. So, some of those key components, productivity, dealing with the commercial aspect, that's one objective, how technology can be used. As you said, another objective or headline in the document is compliancy. And then the third part is should be on everybody's strategy document about cybersecurity, the threat landscape, and the appropriate measures that they need to put in place for their size of organization.
And even just the budget planning
Yeah,
to make sure that you're funding it correctly.
you're right. And so the appropriate level of
Yeah.
uh, budget, finance versus risk.
There's no nasty surprises when it comes to um,
Good.
for it.
Paul, in your experience, how often should an IT strategy be reviewed or, I suppose, updated as well?
Well, here at Grant McGregor, what we do with our clients is that we review it with them quarterly.
Okay.
We certainly encourage it to be reviewed quarterly. And with that, what we do is we have a member of our professional services team that will sit with you, review the strategy. Even if there's nothing that's changed, even if there's nothing to be reviewed, it's just a touch point document. It's you to have the ability just to sit with the customer and look at it together. Remind yourself of actually, do you know what? I've got this expense coming up in 9 months' time, or actually our business goal in a year's time is to do that. So we'll get the budget in at the start of the next financial year. So certainly quarterly is what we would recommend.
And I think so often when we've had strategy reviews, the customer will say, actually, our business hasn't changed and maybe can we push it forward? And I think if we take the viewpoint as well, let's just have the meeting and 5, 10 minutes into they find out and we find out quite quickly that actually there is functions of the business or opportunities that they're working on that actually need a technology slant. And I think that just that review point, regardless of how long it is every quarter, I think is a healthy place, as you said.
Exactly. Even if there's nothing to talk about in terms of your strategy or client strategy, having the ability to even just inform you of what's what's new in the IT or security world since the last time we met is powerful.
Good. Thank you. That's good advice. I think which is always good is let's try and bring that to life. Do you have an example for our viewers of an organization that have implemented an IT strategy and really seen the benefits of that, Paul?
Absolutely. So, um, recently we've had a client coming to us who's never had an IT strategy,
Okay.
didn't even really understand what one was, and effectively what we talked about earlier became a little bit disorganized and messy in their infrastructure. They realized that when it started affecting the service that they were providing to their clients, but also realizing that, with tender and new work, they were unable to attract that. So we got involved, and straight away seek to understood or understand the client even, and then from there built that strategy with them. They realised that they needed a cloud migration because that's the way they wanted to be. That's what had failed them in the past, and with the strategy, with the timings, with the budget planning, able to do that cloud migration. Much more stable IT infrastructure, and it's allowed them to focus on their clients and spend more time with their clients than firefight some of the internal challenges that they had with that.
That's great. I think that's a good example again. Just moving from a very reactive business to a proactive business. You love those words, but that's this reality. Is minimizing those surprises and removing the chaos, and then that's given them a competitive advantage. Thanks, Paul. How does an IT strategy relate to broader business plans or goals within an organization?
Well, it should be very connected
Okay.
straight away. So, if there's growth in the business and the business is taking a particular direction, the IT strategy will help define that. So yeah, they're very much connected.
And I think, you're right. I know from even Grant McGregor days when we've always had a business plan, but when, years and years ago, when our business plan became more effective and we had a vision and a mission that helped us grow, uh, become more successful, and then we build other aspects into our business of the and our own IT strategy, as well as compliance here of ISO 9001, 27001. Those have creates an element of other things to do right, but really helps focus and uh, creates a growth by having those plans in place.
And that's the key bit is plans have uh, the business plan and the IT strategy together,
Yeah,
side
no,
by side. They don't need to be necessarily fully integrated, but one will define and shape the other.
yeah, that's a good point, Paul. Thank you. And there's just no avoiding it, is there? At the moment, cybersecurity is such a prevalent word in the technology landscape. And what role does that play, cybersecurity play in the overall strategy?
It's critical,
Is it? Right.
absolutely. The cybersecurity is a section that really should be baked into the strategy because it's all about protecting your people, protecting the organization, which fundamentally will protect the organization's client base, and protect any reputational damage that a cyber incident can cause, which could happen quite quickly these days.
That's some good points. And I know from our own UCAS ISO compliances that we have a standing order on certain meetings that we have, that there's a headline section that talks about cybersecurity, the threat landscape, and it makes us focus each quarter that we're actually thinking and doing stuff around that. Some good advice there, Paul. Thank you. with your experience as well, and I suppose mine as well, how can organizations ensure that IT strategy documents or the strategy remains proactive and future proof?
It's keep reviewing it. It's as simple as that. So don't create a strategy document or like a policy and look at it and then pop it in a drawer and take it out in 2 or 3 years' time. I've seen that before where, there's been a IT incident and the strategy document comes out. That's not what it's designed there for. It's designed there just to be picked up and reviewed, and using a quarterly review like what we do at Grant McGregor is just having that touch point again to pick it up, it's review, it's still relevant. If it's still relevant, it's still relevant. But things within an organization can change.
And I hate to use this term, but a living and breathing document that is not expansive. It's a good size, a relevant size for the organization, allowing people just to review it every quarter. If people are still a bit unsure uh, where to start, what would be your advice?
The first part I would advise on is where to start is just have a look at the IT, speak to your speak to your own people, and just find out what's working,
Mhm.
yeah, and then what's not working, and between the two will quite quickly allow any organization to realize where investment needs to be made, what necessarily might need to be replaced, or what needs to be restructured. So the first two bits, what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, that's good,
uh,
good advice.
it's important for any organization to get the people involved, everybody within the organization, because the only way that you will know is by asking the questions of the people that's using the technology. And then the last bit from that is, where does organization see itself in, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years? So you've started at that bit and then you're looking to end it at this bit there. So with everything else in between.
Well, that's good. I think, picking up on some key words, understanding, so internally understanding what the needs are, what are the requirements of the organization, and then aligning that with the business plan, prioritizing that, and then assigning people. So who's doing what when to that. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. And I think also that, why not get organizations like us involved in that? We can help speed that process up. And we've got lots of experience uh, in bringing that IT strategy document to life, or at least helping them create their first draft.
Exactly.
Touching upon one aspect of that is, lots of support. Our service or people-centric service that we've talked before in the
Mhm.
podcast is designed that we include the strategy reviews. We're not going to slip you another invoice each month. We're not going to say you've exhausted your time and here's an extra invoice. It's included. Our goal, as you said, is to support our customers or organizations through uh, the IT strategy. And it's only as good as when you start something. So that we just remove that uh, anxiety or that worry or that trepidation of, oh, this is going to be super difficult. And it's not. It will break it down into English, remove the acronyms, and align it and help them align it with their business plans.
And that's the key point, is to keep it simple
Yeah,
and transparent.
great. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for taking the time today out of your busy day just to help us and help our viewers understand what is an IT strategy and remove the myths of what that looks like and feels like. So thank you for that.
Welcome.
So thank you for listening, and we hope this podcast has been relevant and useful, and maybe provoked the right kind of questions that you might want to ask as an organization, and thinking through some of those answers if you're still unsure of where to start. we're here to help, provide that guidance and experience. So just feel free to reach out to us and through the usual channels, and we'll be happy to help. Or if you have an IT strategy, you think, actually, do you know, it just needs a bit of a refresh. Again, no harm, just pick up the phone, ping us an email, and we're happy to help. So again, hopefully, the time today has been useful for you, and thank you for taking the time to view the podcast.